Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Kim Christensen. A judge in Denver sentenced a teenager to life in prison today for the murder of a 32-year-old mother. It was an emotional hearing as her family shared the pain they still feel 3 years later. 9 News reporter Ria Jha joins us now with what happened in court today.
Yeah, and just to give some context, Pamela Cabriales was driving on Colfax when she bumped into Remy Cordova's car. Prosecutors say Cordova pulled up next to her at a red light and fired 8 shots into her car. Cabriales was 32 years old and left behind her 5-year-old son, Leo. In court today, her family said he still asks about her. In February 2021, Lorenzo Rodriguez had to sit down his 5-year-old son.
Leo, we need to talk.
For the most difficult conversation of his life.
You know your daddy loves you very much. It's about your mommy. Mommy died and is no longer with us.
Rodriguez relived this at the sentencing hearing for the teenager convicted of shooting and killing his ex-wife, Pamela Cabriales, as she sat in her car at a red light.
Remy's senseless act of pure evil has left our family with a loss that words cannot describe.
A judge sentenced Remy Cordova to life in prison for first-degree murder. Cordova was 14 when he got in a fender bender with Pamela and pulled out an AR-15 style rifle.
I'm terribly sorry for the pain that you guys feel, but I cannot take responsibility for something that I did not do.
Cordova said it was another teenager in the car who pulled the trigger. He told the court he will appeal his conviction.
I'm not the monster or the murderer that I have been painted to be by the Denver's District Attorney Office.
For Pamela's family, his sentence is the bare minimum for the loss they faced.
Pamela was more than just my sister. She was loving, she was kind, she was the heartbeat of our family.
Her brother Alex and her mom Irma said time hasn't made it any easier. Knowing they're facing many more difficult conversations.
What do you do when your child asks you, who's going to take care of me if you die, Daddy? I'm sad because I don't want to lose you.
Now, because he was a juvenile at the time of the shooting, Cordova will be eligible for parole after 40 years. He was also sentenced to an additional 8 years in prison for attempted murder of the driver behind Pamela. He'll serve that consecutively with the life sentence. Ria Jha, 9 News.
It's pretty mild here in Denver, but check out those mountaintops, and the mountains could be bracing for more snow tomorrow. Corey, that's how they like it. We don't always love it, but they need it.
Yeah, everybody loves it up there, right? Of course. I don't mind it when it comes down here, but we won't have any impacts down here on the Front Range with this next system. And even in the mountains, this one's not going to be too impressive. You see it moving through the Northern California, Oregon area now. It'll be here tomorrow. We'll have a wintry day in the mountains tomorrow and fairly mild down here on the Front Range with no precipitation. Today's box score, 54 degrees in Denver. That's 10 degrees warmer than average. We're still looking for that first precipitation of the month of December officially here in Denver, and the forecast does not look good for that. So with this little system, we'll have cooler temperatures here in Denver, but we'll stay dry. Mountain snow, pretty light stuff, 1 to 3 inches on the mountain passes, and then we'll be talking about a dry spell that could be lasting 7 to 14 days here in Denver. That's coming up in the forecast.
The Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office says it's going to need 2 or 3 more deputies to cover its new duties in Georgetown after that town ran out of police officers. The last Georgetown police officer left earlier this year. That resignation followed several others since the shooting death of Christian Glass in 2022. The Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office is now trying to figure out a new workflow to cover Georgetown. Currently, 44 of their deputies respond to an average of 75 to 100 calls for service a week.
Our office is right in the middle of town. And so we drive through Georgetown on the way to work every day. And so it's not really a heavy lift for us. We just have to do some scheduling changes.
Deputies are going to be on patrol in Georgetown 3 days a week. The town will actually get a bill for each after-hours call the other 4 days of the week. This current contract goes through May. Another small town in Colorado, their police force is actually expanding. I'm talking about the town of Severance, northeast of Windsor in Weld County. The elevation there once exceeded the population. Now it's a town of more than 11,000. They say with more people comes the need for increased public safety resources. The town created its own police department in 2018. Officers have been shuffled around Town Hall, old Public Works building. Now, as of today, they have their very own police station.
A lot of people go to Town Hall looking for us, but now they know that this is a dedicated police building and then they can come here.
The mayor says that grant funding helped to pay for much of that building.
Steve on Your Side found people are getting tickets for private parking lots downtown, despite having paid. That's even after a settlement between Colorado's Democratic Attorney General and Parking Revenue Recovery Services over allegations that they did not follow debt collection law. Mark Chaplow is an attorney in Denver, and he's parked at a lot at 15th and Boulder and Lehigh twice in the last few months. Each time he got a ticket claiming he didn't pay when he actually did. The first time he disputed it with his credit card and the company voided the $87 ticket. The second time he tried to do the same, but the debt collector wouldn't accept it because Mark's credit card statement said the transaction actually posted the following day, not the day he parked. He tried to show the company a screenshot of his text message parking confirmation, but they wouldn't accept it. They said he needed a receipt. He says he never got one.
They have the information. They have the ability to check their own billing program to show that, in fact, I was on their link that night and gave the information to pay for the parking. I'm very little concerned about whether I've got to write an $87 check. I am more concerned that they're doing this to a lot of people that they're targeting.
PRRS voided Mark's ticket after Steve on Your Side asked about it. Parkwell, which enforces payments for PRRS, told us they average about 6,000 of these citations a month, and 10% of those end up being bad tickets. Tonight, Denver police are searching for the driver who hit a Cherry Creek school bus and then took off. Happened about 2:45 today while the bus was driving east on I-70 just past Pecos. The school district says 3 people were on the bus, 2 staff members, 1 student. While no one was seriously hurt, the student was taken to a nearby hospital for observation. DPD is asking anyone who may have seen that crash or knows anything about it to call them.
An advocacy group has filed a lawsuit in federal court against the Air Force Academy. Students for Fair Admissions is the group that sued Harvard and the landmark Supreme Court case that overturned affirmative action. This new lawsuit claims the Air Force Academy is in violation of the Fifth Amendment because they consider race as a factor when accepting applicants. The group wants a judge to declare the Academy's use of race in admissions unconstitutional, effectively banning the school from considering or even knowing an applicant's race. This lawsuit comes just days after a federal district court rejected the group's challenge of race-conscious admission policies at the U.S. Naval Academy. Keeping an eye on Denver Public Schools is a team of campus safety officers, or CSOs.
One of their newest is also one of the youngest for the district. As 9 News reporter Rachel Krause shows us, he's already making history in his own family.
In the hallways in between classes,
first floor east side is all clear.
Hector Briones is on patrol. At 19 years old.
It's like sometimes it's like, oh, like, am I a student? Am I a staff? Like, yeah.
Hector is happy to be back in a Denver public school.
I am, yeah, I am.
Just a year after graduating.
One of the few to do that.
Along with being one of the district's newest campus safety officers.
Let's go, y'all, hurry up.
He's also one of the youngest.
Obviously, 19, you don't really see that many go straight from high school to a campus safety officer. Yeah. Do you want a sticker?
Here to protect the students and the school.
You gotta go all the way out of school property.
He prepared for this job through high school.
Yeah, copy.
A journey his former assistant principal has followed from the school halls.
But I can say it was one of my favorite surprises of the year when they said, we have a new CSO, and I turned around and it was Hector, and I was like, hey, I know Hector.
Now working at the same school as Hector, Bruce Randolph School Principal Aaron Olson says his age allows him to connect with the kids on their level.
Exactly. See, is that not plain?
And being bilingual means Hector can reach the Spanish-speaking students in a way many can't.
But also just really exciting to see him give back to the Denver Public Schools and to be somebody who our students can see as a role model.
Knowing that I could come from DPS with myself, a DPS student, and now being a staff and helping out to make sure we keep our students and staff safe. means a lot to me. It's kind of like giving back to my community.
As one of the first in his family to graduate high school, Hector has already made history.
They're really proud of me, my dad especially. You know, he never had opportunities to go to school.
And happy to keep sending him off to school, protecting the hallways here, now with a new goal in mind.
Yes, hopefully I'll be able to make them proud. 2027, be the first one in my whole family to graduate college, yeah.
Hector is now taking online classes at MSU Denver with hopes of one day working for the Denver Police Department. He says it means so much to have his family cheering him on every step of the way.
You can tell he's just so invested in it, right? You know?
And what a role model he is by his mere presence in the schools.
Absolutely. You can tell that he was really able to relate to students today, and being one of the only Spanish-speaking CSOs, you can tell he's really able to communicate with them. It's really amazing to see.
All right, Rachel Krause, thank you.
Great. Sometimes even a hero needs some saving. A deputy in Douglas County learned that firsthand.
But I can't good conscience leave your bike here. So, and I don't want you guys getting, everybody's gonna be looky-looing, and I don't want you guys.
Pull rank, I'm a captain.
I know.
So this guy, dressed as Captain America, was on his way to an appearance at Children's Hospital Colorado in Highlands Ranch when his motorcycle broke down on C-470 yesterday. That deputy paid for a tow truck with his own money, despite protests from the Avenger. Captain America made it to the hospital and picked his bike up later on.